Hey, what's up guys? In this video I'm going to show you how to factor a quadratic trinomial. So remember that a quadratic means a degree of 2, the highest exponent is 2, and trinomial means you have 3 different terms. So I do have 3 terms, 4x squared plus 4x minus 3. Now a quadratic trinomial, you can set it up using different variables. We are using the x in this case, but the letter doesn't matter. You guys can have an m, a b, so you just have to use whatever variable they give you. And you also have to know what is the standard form for a quadratic trinomial. So I'm going to write the standard form on top of this trinomial, and the standard form is ax squared plus the bx plus the c, which is the constant at the end of the trinomial. Why do we need to do that? Because the method I use to factor the quadratic trinomial, I use what is called the X diagram, or you guys will multiply A times C and you guys will make it an X diagram. So I do have 3 steps, and the first step is to make my X diagram. So I'm going to have an X like this, and on top of the X you guys will multiply the A value times the C, so A times C. So that's why it's very important to know what is the standard form for the trinomial. So A is 4 in this case, and the C value is a minus a negative 3. So I'm going to multiply those two. 4 times the negative 3, that's going to be negative 12. And on the bottom of the X diagram, you are going to write your B value. And the B value is the one with the X, or the one in the middle. So we have a positive plus 4. So positive 4 is your B term, or your B value. Now, when you guys are looking on the X, you guys have empty space on the left and the right. So we need to find 2 factors, in other words, 2 numbers that will multiply to negative 12, but at the same time, they do combine, add or subtract to positive 4. Now, this is where it gets a little bit tricky. You guys just have to try numbers, make sure that it works to find the correct numbers. And what I like to do, on the right side of the X diagram, I like to start a list of factors that will multiply to negative 12. Now think about it. Negative 12, in order to get a negative, we must have a negative number and a positive number. And I'll give you guys a trick. You see the B value here. Since this B value is a positive, that means that the biggest number has to be positive out of those 2 factors that you guys need to find. So I am going to multiply, first of all, negative 1 times positive 12. But guess what, guys? They do not add or subtract. They do not combine to positive 4. Negative 1 plus 12, that's positive 11. They do multiply to negative 12, but it doesn't give you positive 4. I'm going to try the next factors. Negative 2 times 6. Now look at these 2 here. Negative 2 times 6, it does multiply to negative 12. And negative 2 plus is a positive 6. Negative 2 plus 6, it does give you guys positive 4. So these 2 factors actually work for the X diagram. So I'm going to put a negative 2 on the left side and a positive 6. Now you might be thinking, well, what about 3 and 4? You guys can try it. If you multiply negative 3 times positive 4, well, they do multiply to negative 12, but they do not add or subtract, which means they combine, do not combine to positive 4. So these 2 factors do not work. When you guys are trying to factor and you use the X diagram, only one set of factors, one pair of factors will work. Only one pair, okay? So don't think that we have more numbers that will work. Only one pair. So these 2 are the ones that actually work for this diagram. In step 2, you guys are going to set up 2 binomials, or 2 parentheses with 2 terms inside. So they're going to be binomials. And I'm going to have my 2 parentheses multiplying each other. Because remember, when you're factoring, that's what you're looking for. You're trying to look for the binomials or polynomials that when you multiply them each other, you have to get this trinomial back. So what I do for these 2 parentheses, I am going to write my A value in both of the parentheses. So A, I'm going to go back here, is 4. And the x squared, I'm going to split it into x times x. So x over here, x over here. So I will write down 4, that's the a value, x, and 4, that is the x, the a value again, x. I'm not using an x squared, I'm just using a regular x because I split up the x squared into 2 different x's. Now when you guys check, you guys will multiply x times x, that's going to be x squared. And we'll talk about the numbers in a second, right? But let's go ahead and look at the factors that we found. So the 2 factors, -2 is going to go inside the first parentheses. So keep the sign -2. And the +6 is going to go in the second parentheses, +6. When you guys check if you guys get the trinomial back when you multiply, well, think about it, okay? You guys don't have to do a lot of math, but if you multiply the 4x times the 4x, well, 4 times 4 is 16. Wait a minute, that is not the a term here. Not 16, we have a 4x squared. And if you multiply the -2 times the +6, that will be -12, and it is not the -3 that we have in the trinomial. So what we have to do, the next step, is you have to divide the binomials by its common factor or greatest common factor. So what I'm talking about is when you look at the 4x minus 2, what is the greatest common factor for the 4 and the 2? It's 2. You guys can divide both numbers by 2. And the second binomial, well, 4x plus 6, 4 and 6, well, you can also divide by 2. That is the greatest common factor. You divide both of them by 2. So when you guys divide, this is my third step. I am going to write down my parentheses again, and I'm going to divide 4 divided by 2. That's going to be 2x. You guys keep the variable. 2 divided by 2, it's a minus. 2 divided by 2, that's a minus 1. 2 divided by 2 is 1. And the second parentheses, 4 divided by 2 is 2x. And 6 divided by 2, positive 6 divided by 2 is positive 3. Now those are the factors for the quadratic trinomial. Factors means that when you multiply both parentheses, you will get this trinomial back. And I'm going to show you guys, you don't have to do this when you factor, but the answer are these 2 factors. So I'm going to put a box. Actually, no, before I do the box, I'm going to multiply so you guys can see that we get the trinomial. So, but again, like I say, you don't really have to multiply to check. You just need to make sure that the X diagram works and you will be okay. But let's go ahead and multiply. I'm going to multiply the 2x times the 2x, and I'm going to put it on the side over here. That's going to be 4x squared. I'm going to multiply the 2x times the next term, 3. So 2x times positive 3. That's going to be positive 6x. And then you multiply the next term in the first parentheses, minus 1, negative 1 times 2x. That's going to be a negative 2x. And negative 1 times positive 3. Negative 1 times positive 3. That'll be negative 3. You guys can combine the middle terms. Positive 6 minus 2. That's going to be positive 4x. There's a plus, positive. And you guys bring down the 4x squared and the minus 3. So we don't have more like terms. The only like terms are the ones in the middle, 6x minus 2x. So notice 4x squared plus 4x minus 3 is the same thing as the trinomial that we started with. So that's the idea. When you guys factor, you want to find the factors that will multiply to this trinomial. So we know that those 2 factors, 2x minus 1 times 2x plus 3, will give you guys back this trinomial. Alright guys, the only way you guys can learn more and get good at math is by practicing. So make sure you guys practice, and if you guys like my videos, you guys can click the like button. You can also tell your friends about my channel so they can subscribe. Make sure you guys practice, and I'll see you guys later.